Hey guys, it's Maymay, and today we are doing the sunflower wreath. Now, so that you don't have to watch me do this process over again, I'm going to link for you the video that is the process for creating this wreath. All you'll have to do is change the colors. Instead of using the pattern paper that I show you in the original video, just use sunflower color. Now for this little piece here, this is what we used. We used a 3/4 inch scallop punch and just punched out the little circles. So instead of the stickers you see in my original video, these are what we put here. And I think that worked really cute. And when I say we, I mean Shannon, because Shannon did all of this. So I appreciate that very much. Now, I want to show you how we're going to make the center. So there's something you need to do before you do this part right here. Before you glue this down as your template, there's one thing you need to do. So let me show you. All right. You'll want to take that very same template. Before you glue it into the center of your wreath, you're going to cut out a brown circle the same size, okay? Just put it aside. We're going to use that later. You need to be able to see this so you can know where your template lies. That's why I just go ahead and use it white, and then we're going to cover it up when we make our center. Okay, on to the center. Here's what you need. You need your, what is this, a 3-inch? Let me measure this so I can tell you, in case you just want to cut it out another way. 4 1/4 inch circle. So if you just want to cut out a 4 1/4 inch circle, I just cut mine with the pattern. Then you're going to need 2 4 by 12 inch brown or black, whatever you choose, actually whatever color. And then you're going to need 6 2-inch by 12. Yeah, 2 by 12. So this is one piece of 12 by 12 cardstock, and this is a little over half because this is 2 strips and you have 1 strip left over. You could actually use that strip that you have left over because it'll just make your center thicker, but I'm a little bit lazy, so here's how I'm doing it. All right, put your little center aside for now. Go ahead and plug up your hot glue gun. There's a tip for you. Okay, time to score. On all of these pieces we cut, we're gonna score them in half. So I'm gonna score my 2-inch by 12 pieces at 1 inch right down the center. So all 6 of these pieces get scored at 1 inch. All right, that's our last one. And then our 4-inch pieces get scored in the middle as well. They get scored at 2 inches. So both of those. And again, you can add layers if you want a thicker center, but I think this one works. All right then. Now for the fun part. This takes a little bit of time, but when you're done, you'll be so proud of it, okay? I'm going to show you what you need to do for each strip, and then off camera, I'm going to get all mine ready. But here's what you do. So take your 2-inch piece and fold it in half on that score line and go ahead and crease it down. You want to go ahead and get that crease in there. Then you're going to take some scissors. Now, if you have the fringe scissors, which I do have a pair of fringe scissors, I don't suggest using them on this part. When we get to the bigger petal, you can use them there, but for this one, you don't want to do that. For this one, you want to snip about 1/4 inch all the way down your piece. The reason for this is you want this to be kind of chunky. We don't want this to be fine. The chunkiness is what makes it look more like a sunflower center. Because, you know, sunflowers are kind of, I don't know, they're kind of chunky on the inside. So I'm going to do about 1/4 inch all the way down on all 6 of my pieces. And don't stress too much about how deep you go down. You don't need to go super close to the bottom. That is about as far down as I would go on this last cut I just did right there. I don't think I'd go any further down than that. We're going to be bending these out and making the most of them anyway. So just a good snip down and do the whole piece. Again, you want to do 6 of these. And when you're done, it'll look like this. And I have to be honest, I get real lazy toward the end. I have to slow myself down because I want to go super fast at the end. So there's the first one. Let's do 5 more just like that. Then on the other piece, your thicker piece, this is the one you could use your fringe scissors on if you've got them. Now those fringe scissors are the ones that are going to cut much closer together, and it does like 5 at a time. The only thing you want to be cautious of is if you're using cardstock like I am, sometimes the fringe scissors don't go all the way through, and if they do, they kind of tear at the bottom. I'm going to use my cutter bees, and here's what you need to do on this one. We want to do 1/8 inch strips, and this one takes longer, okay? So I'm going to be cutting these 1/8 inch strips all the way down. If you don't want to use your cutter bees and you want to use something that has a longer blade, you'll get a cut all the way down faster. See how I'm having to do 2 cuts to get it? With a longer blade, you can just cut down in one snip. So you're going to do this all the way down this strip. This is why I only did 2 and not 3 of these strips. I told you I'm a little lazy and I don't want to do this all day. But remember, once you have this done, you have a sunflower wreath for the whole season and it is worth it. All right, so I'm going to head off and get all of these sliced and we'll get right back together. All right, guys, so here we go. We have 6 of these guys trimmed like this and 2 of these guys trimmed like this. Now, I'm going to put these away. We don't need these for a minute. We need these. So with my circle, that's what I'm going to be gluing these guys down to eventually. And I'm going to start with one of these. I'm going to kind of do that whole ribbon curl thing where you kind of put your bone folder into it and you kind of get the bend started. For me, this helps. Now, we're kind of defeating the purpose of this turn. Let me tell you why. We're going to twirl it, okay? But then we're going to bend these petals back out. So you don't want to work the petals as much as you're worried about this bottom section. Really, that's where we're trying to break up some of the fibers in the paper so it'll turn. Now, when you start to turn it, do not stress that this is not going to be a perfect circle. It is not going to matter. When this is over with, it's still going to look good. All you're doing is turning this like you would a paper rose. Notice I did not put any adhesive in there. I'm using hot glue, and I don't want to fight that the whole time I'm turning. So I'm just turning this on itself. Now, the first one, I'm doing kind of tight. After this, I won't roll them this tight. And once I get this where I can hold it, I loosen the twirl. It does not have to be super, super tight. You can have a little air between the petals because the way we're going to do this, I'll show you what I mean. Because we're going to come back and bend all these petals out, a little air is actually a good thing once you get out here so it has some space. Now, when I get here, I'm going to put some glue, some hot glue. You don't have to use hot glue. If you have a rubber band or a clothespin or something, you could put just regular glue here and then just let the clothespin or the rubber band hold it while it dries. But I'm impatient. So I'm going to do that there, and then I'm coming to my circle, and I'm going to put a dollop of hot glue. Remember, the more glue you use, the longer it takes to cool. I'm going to sit this down into the center, and you want to make sure you push in the middle onto your hot glue, and that'll get that seated there for you. So that's how I'm starting, okay? It's really easy. I'm going to need to hold this while everything cools because my glue gun is super hot. It's been plugged up a while, so that glue is going to take a bit to cool. See how it's pulling? That's because my glue is so hot. So we'll be right back. All right, so you can see we've got this on here. What we're going to do here is add just a little bit of hot glue right next to our last little roll there. And then take another piece and put it on and then wrap it up. Remember, this is where you can get much looser with your wrap. So I'm just going to loosely pull that around like so. You really don't have to be super tight. That's how we can get away with using so few. Because see how we can open these up? And then we're just going to glue this one down. Now, I'm not even gluing this to the base. I think I will put a little glue down there so it'll go to the bottom too. If you want to run glue around the bottom and have it glued to your base really snug, you can. But having that center in there is going to keep it all nice and close. All right, so I'm going to let this cool and we'll start with the next one. All right, next petal, going to do the same thing. And this time I'm going to put a little glue at the bottom and on the side so you can see where my glue is. And you guessed it, we're going to just keep going. Again, don't go too tight. You're going to be tempted to. And it probably looks like I am, but I'm not. I promise I'm holding it super loose and just kind of letting it make a sort of circle. Don't worry. See how that is? Don't let that stress you. We're going to adjust all that in a few minutes. Don't let it stress you. We're crafting. We're not stressing. All right, a little bit of glue. Hold that till it cools. To the next one. So I actually wrapped this one and pushed back a little bit to give myself a little bit of looseness. I don't know how to say that without making you think you don't need it any tight at all. You do need a little snug, but you need some movement in there. You'll see when we go to spread these petals out. All right, I have 2 more to wrap and we'll get right back together. Okay, so I've got this hot glued around. It's still cooling on that corner, but I want to show you what we do and why we wanted a little bit of air between the petals. Now you're going to take your thumb and you're just going to go in and work these guys out like this. Start from that outer edge and give yourself a good bend. It gives you the room to pull these guys out. Look how beautiful that starts to look. In person, this chocolate brown is so pretty. By the way, this is the new paper we're carrying in store. This is the color called Java, and it is gorgeous. It's cardstock, not paper. This will all be linked in the blog post, by the way. All right, so see how that opens that side up? Now I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Look how cool that looks already. It's so neat. Don't worry that you're off-centered. It's not going to matter because we can place this wherever we want it on the wreath. All right then. Now, these pieces, there's a little trick with this one, okay? What you're going to do is after you make all your slices, open this up and then fold it back on itself. Now that may seem like a useless thing to do, but I don't want this to be super creased. I want it to have a little bit of body to it. So by doing that, it gives us a little bit of body in that curve instead of just being super flat little petals. And now all you do with this is glue it around to your piece exactly like you did the other petals. So you're just going to come to the side. Let me do it like this. Come to the side, put some hot glue on. And we're just going to glue this straight to the side. Let that sit and catch for a second. And you're literally just going to glue this around just like that. You might want to add glue to a couple places here so it'll kind of stay. So just putting a little glue inside there like that. Wrapping it in. Let those two dry and then we'll finish up. And then where this comes back together, glue that. As long as you have it secured to your to that little brown circle we cut, this is very forgiving. Just get it wrapped around there and don't panic if it's not like super neat and clean. Very, very forgiving. You'll see what I mean in just a second. All right, and then your last one, same thing. Add some glue, stick it on, and run it around. And just glue it as far around as it will fit. This one probably won't wrap all the way around. It might get really, really close, but that's okay. Well, mine did wrap, so we're good. Mine overlapped just about 1/2 inch. And that's fine. All right, let it dry. Okay, now for my favorite part. Start with that last one you put on and bend those petals down. You're going to have to actually bend them. See how I'm kind of pushing them onto themselves? Bend those petals down and out. And like I said, start with that last one you put on and we can come back and do the other one. Now I'm just grabbing them all. Now I'm going to go back on top of that and push. And you can literally bend this. Like you can literally stick your hand up there, you know, get underneath here and bend it if you need to. Isn't that beautiful? It's so easy and it's so cool how it turns out looking. Now I'm going to flatten the whole thing and flatten these guys back out. That becomes your sunflower center. Let's put it onto the wreath. So here is the wreath. I'm going to sit this down and just take a look at it. Look how gorgeous. I just love it. And now I'm just going to hot glue this into place. Now using this brown circle helps to make sure that you don't have any white or any of your pattern showing underneath. And also at this point, you can go right back to your art glitter glue. You don't have to use hot glue, but since I had my glue gun plugged up, I'm going to check it, make sure it's in the center. Appears to be. Now, can you believe we did that center with a 1.5 pages of cardstock? That's 1.5 sheets, roughly, of 12 by 12 cardstock. And then our little sunflower is done. Look how cute it is. I'll make sure Jordan put pictures in so you guys can see the whole thing. But I just love how the sunflower turned out. Now remember, I did not show you in this video how to make the wreath. You're going to have to go back and watch the original video to see it. But I wanted you to see how to do this center so you could get your sunflower wreaths made too. Hey, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoy this one. And don't forget, we want to see what you're making. So head to our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com and share photos of your wreaths. I love seeing your wreath creations. As a matter of fact, this weekend, I think I saw 7 that were already made, and I love it. Keep them coming, guys. I love seeing what you're doing. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you again next time. Bye-bye.